Hi, fishies. Right, I am still terrified of vlogs, so I'm running with the theme of things that frighten me. Briefcases on trains make me, well, a bit uncomfortable. Actually, any bloke carrying a bag with corners behind me on the train makes me nervous, and I'll tell you why. I've travelled on trains in Tokyo, Singapore, Osaka, Kyoto, Sydney, and Kuala Lumpur, all busy cities, much busier than Perth where I live, during peak hour, and all of them have nothing on the crowding in Perth trains. I've heard people on the Perth Underground platform say, "Nothing's worse than the London Tube, we'll be fine!" And they couldn't even make it onto the train when it stopped. I'm sure there's a logical answer, longer trains, running more frequently, or, making people take other forms of transport, but all that costs money and takes time for the new carriages to be constructed and shipped from Japan. So until I retire, my commute to and from Perth CBD will be in a sardine can with a bunch of other uncomfortable commuters. Now, on Tokyo trains, there are women-only carriages, because there are some guys who've decided that the packed confines of the train carriage are the ideal opportunity to cop a feel of one of the female passengers. I understand that that'd be a problem in Japan because Japanese women are a lot quieter. Now, Aussie girls aren't like that. You feel up a woman in an Aussie carriage, she'll shout rape, and, well, you'll have 100 people mob the poor individual who thought he had a shot. If he's lucky, he will leave unconscious and with 10 broken fingers. Now, one really fun day I squeezed into a crowded carriage and the train took off, and then it stopped suddenly, so all of us vertical sardines tilted dangerously and then straightened up. The bloke behind me's briefcase went straight up my skirt. I, glanced over my shoulder to work out whose toes to stomp on and break before making some noise and making sure he was in as much pain as I was, and realised that the bloke who owned the briefcase didn't actually know what he'd done. We were so tightly packed in that he couldn't move. And to tell him, well, I didn't feel like killing this bloke today, no matter how uncomfortable I was. And besides, letting 100 people know that I'd let him stick his briefcase up my bum really wasn't something I'd planned to do that day. So I think those 5 minutes were the longest train journey ever, and I still wince every time I think of it, as I walk stiffly home from the station. You'd have to be an angel to put up with the sort of hell on your way to work every day that I do on the Perth train lines. So yes, briefcases on trains make me uncomfortable. See you next week, fishies.